But in terms of getting into the industry, this is one of the areas where you sort of gotta show it. Right.
What is up, everybody? Hey, it's me, Lucky. Thank you for tuning into Lucky Pro Chats, short for Lucky Professional Chats. I have a very special guest today. I have Mr. Ricky Mitchell with Beasley Media Group. If you don't know who Beasley Media Group is, you don't go anywhere. You don't listen to anything. It's your on-air radio. It's your digital solutions. It's your event marketing. It's esports and gaming. And without further ado, Mr. Ricky Mitchell, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
How's it going?
Good.
Ricky Mitchell, go by Ricky Radio. I guess in background wise, from Brooklyn, New York. Raised with Trinidadian parents. So I grew up as a Trinidadian kid. The first song I ever heard that was R&B was Killing Me Softly. That's Lauryn Hill's version. And then first rap song was I Can't Touch This, MC Hammer. But from Brooklyn, I decided to go to school for marketing. I came down to North Carolina to the Winston-Salem State University. That's what gave me my roots there. Pledged Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and then continued on my media journey. Did a couple of jobs there before, God always brings you back to where you're supposed to be. So finally got into the radio industry, and now I help put brands and small businesses on platforms so people can find them. The best way for me to describe exactly what I do is for those people who used to watch Blackish. Yeah. If you remember Dre, the dad on Blackish, how you doing? I'm Dre. So we handle everything from your marketing campaign to your messaging. I'll write the copy for you. When you hear a commercial over the air, or if you see a commercial on TV, somebody had to write it. Somebody had to tell them how to say certain words. Had to develop the whole concept, the whole messaging, and that's what I do for clients. I'll come up with that whole concept, come up with the strategy of how to deliver your message, where to deliver the message, where your audience will be, and we help you get people in the door and create traffic for your business.
Oh, nice. So I know you touched on coming back, and so what told you growing up, or what did you experience that even brought you initially to media?
Oh man, so originally it wasn't this. Originally it was I wanted to be Diddy. So my dad was a yellow cab driver in New York, and it was one night where we were driving through Times Square, and Diddy was shooting the video for that 112 remix. In Times Square, and I saw Diddy taking some promo photos, and when we drove by him, I looked out the window and I was like, I want to be that. So then he came out with his album. I was in junior high school, and I just wanted to follow him. So when it was I did a small a college tour. My mom took me on a college tour, and we came down to the South and was looking at a bunch of schools, and some schools had music business, some schools didn't. Winston-Salem State had a music business program, so I chose Winston-Salem State. But while I was there, there were certain things that I really didn't want to do inside of music business. I had a band scholarship. I play all brass, and marching band takes up your entire day. I couldn't go to any parties. I couldn't have any fun on the yard. So I was like, you know what, this ain't me. So I went from music business to I did a split between marketing, between business management and music. And then I started moving into marketing, and that's where I really finished school with is a marketing degree. And then after school, I was doing the party promoting, had some odd end, some jobs here and there, but then, promoting has always been what it was, and what better way than to help other people than, promote their businesses. Parties can be up and down. Events could be up and down. Had a couple wins, took a lot of huge losses that I learned from, that you really learn from is scarring. You bite off a little bit more than you can chew. But that led me into the business of where I'm at now. really putting the creativity behind a business, because a lot of people think that they can build it and they will come. But that's not the case at all. You really have to put some messaging out there. You really have to engage with your audience. You really have to promote your business, market your business. It's part of the business plan. So some people are good at the business, but then you have someone like myself who can help you with the market.
Very nice, very nice. So I was hearing your challenges there. If you could maybe give a tip on how to overcome one of the specific challenges or any challenge that you faced.
You really have to have a good support system around you. That's a huge thing. Make sure the people that are in your circle are people that truly care about you and can truly put some positive seeds in your head. Because that could be the difference between you taking a decade to get out of the situation or a mental area, or it could be the difference between it taking a month, a couple weeks, a day. If you have the right cheerleaders around you, that can be, or the right team around you, that can make all the difference. The other thing I would say is, however you pray, spirit, however spiritual you are, whether it's meditating, whether it's prayer, whether it's church, whatever it be, there is something greater than us all. So definitely stay in contact with that. And then work your butt off. You know what I mean? Because eventually you're going to fall in love with the work. Just like you see some bodybuilders out here who's like, I can't go a day without going to the gym. But you know what I mean? It's like, you got to, when you're inside of your passion, when it comes to your field, your choice, whatever you're looking to do for work, you'll find that desire to get back to it. Promise you. But it'll take a while for you to get back to it, but you'll always get back to it. God always brings you back to it. And that's like evident. Anybody, you'll always come back to where you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Oh wow. That's very powerful. Thank you for that. And so now, what's your most triumphant moment that you've had?
Besides having my daughter, shout out to Brooklyn. But most triumphant moment, I have those all the time. You know what I mean? And because there's always a small business that comes in who's at ground zero. And when you put your hands on their marketing or what have you, and now you see them being able to say, we hired 10 new people, or I had a great month this month, or there was 30,000 click-throughs on my website this month, and you put your hand on that, that you had an assist on that, then that's a triumphant moment right there. You know what I mean? You're helping other people achieve their dreams. So I can't necessarily put one. It's just that whenever a campaign is truly successful, that's the big joy for me.
Oh, very nice. Okay, so what has been a hurdle that you've seen in the industry, and what would you say a direction you like to see things, or what have you liked to see things, if that even makes sense?
Definitely for it to be much more creative. There's two types of advertising executives that you could come in contact with. There's somebody who's just going to sell you spaces. I got these ads up here. You could buy a space for X amount of dollars. Cool, we put a commercial together. It is what it is. But then there is the person who's going to actually tell your story, because we do anything from radio commercials to digital media to streaming television commercials. So we run the gamut, right? But if there was a couple of things that I would say can change, you already see it going in the direction of more content-based and more creative when it comes to what you're listening to over the air or what you're watching on TV, because now we can consume music in any type of way, right? But if it continues to go in that direction, people continue to tell stories, broadening the scope of the stories, and if we could get a couple more guys in the industry too, when it comes to advertising. Advertising is a industry, you'll be surprised. It's dominated by a lot of women.
Really?
A lot of women are in the advertising industry, and if we could get more males in here who can tell the story, that'll be great. We have a lot of males in some higher up positions, and you don't hear that a lot. But advertising is one of those industries that it's a lot of women in the industry. So that's it. I would say let's get some more Black males in the industry, and let's also get some more creativity going.
Okay. Well, now I guess we'll leeway over to how does one enter? Like what? I know you shared your path, but ideally, what would you say is a way for an individual or a guy or anyone to enter into the industry? Because it's a very desirable industry, I believe. So how do you do it? How do you break in?
Yeah, it definitely has its moments, but like all industries, it's a lot of work, it's a lot of paperwork, and then you also got to chase people down to pay their bill, right? But in terms of getting into the industry, this is one of the areas where you sort of got to show it, right? You sort of have to have somewhat of a resume in most cases. So I was trying to get with this company for about 7 years. You know what I mean? I had a long promotion background. Back in college, I interned for Def Jam. I interned for Atlantic Records. I did a lot of the promo tours in the Greensboro area with Winston and A&T and all of that during my time in college. But, none of that mattered on the resume. They wanted to see that you actually had those conversations business to business, So one thing I would say is start doing some media things. Start having those, find a position that has the same title to get some sort of relatable experience. So if you're looking to sell commercials or advertising, maybe you want to look at a position that, you're also selling business to business. You're also selling maybe a field marketing position or a promotions position, just to show that you know how to advertise, you know how to sell. Those are the two main components there. And once you have that, experience, then you could move on to one of these positions. But to think that you could just jump out the window and get into a position like this, like that's not what's going to happen, So you, just like with anything, you sort of got to get your feet wet, and there's plenty of opportunities or ways that you can do that right now. So you can start a YouTube channel, and start interviewing businesses or whatnot, and attract sponsors and whatnot. You got to start developing some sort of a catalog, some sort of a portfolio. You don't always need a company next to you to start producing. And then once you have a certain amount under your belt, you can partner with a company. When I sit down with a client and I talk to them about their advertising, they're not necessarily buying Beasley Media. They're buying Ricky Radio. You know what I mean? They're buying the creativity or the vision that I have that can help you achieve whatever you have going on business-wise, But then I use the strategies and the team that I have behind me with Beasley to execute for you, So you got to look at it that way. I got to build myself up in order to partner with one of these companies so I could execute even better for whatever small business client is out there. So look at it that way, build your portfolio, build your resume, and then look to align yourself with a company who can make you even more valuable when you sit in front of a client.
Very nice, very nice. Oh, so I have to thank you so much. This is a great passion of mine. I have a recruiting background and then I have a marketing background. So to sit down and chat with someone like you, this is an absolute pleasure. And now I have to ask you, so how can viewers either find you online, social media, or I'm heavy on Instagram.
Where you could just search Ricky Radio CLT, and then you'll find me. I have a bunch of the commercials I've done up there. I have a bunch of content that I've done up there, and you can reach out and we can make some magic happen. You can definitely tell your story, get everything going.
Okay, awesome. And then I'll go ahead and put that on the screen for you all. So once again, thank you, Mr. Ricky Mitchell. And I'll go ahead and close. And as I always say to you all, if you could come close to me, if you will, say this: I am lucky from now on. And say this in the mirror: I am lucky from now on. All right, until next time.